Hi guys, Eric James here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're talking about something most travelers completely misunderstand. The secret to traveling long-term and not just burning out like a tourist. Because let's be honest, we've all seen the guys who fly down to places like Sosua, Dominican Republic for 5 days, or Medellin, Colombia, or Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and they blow their entire net worth on drinks, parties, and entertainment. And then they crawl back home broke, hungover, and wondering where it all went wrong, and then they start the cycle again of saving up so they can take another trip again in 6 months. But what I'm suggesting, with a little more discipline, a smarter approach, and a long-term mindset, you can escape that endless cycle and actually build a real sustainable freedom lifestyle. So let's break it down. The mindset shift. The secret to long-term travel isn't just about money. It isn't even destinations, it's the mindset. And vacation mindset says escape real life, spin like crazy, and party like a rock star. But that mindset and lifestyle will destroy you if you try to live overseas full time like that. Instead, long-term travel is about building a better life, not escaping one. So you have to think like a resident, not a tourist. How do I live sustainably here? How do I build healthy habits and routines, both physically, mentally, and financially? How do I make every day a small step toward a bigger life? That's the real question, because another secret I never hear anybody talk about is that traveling is very expensive overseas, but living overseas is not. Because you already know, airports are expensive, hotels are expensive, the taxis, the tourist restaurants, guided tours, they'll drain you very fast. Travel mode will eat you alive. But once you get outside of the airports and outside of the tourist zones and outside of the hotels and into a real residence like a condo apartment, your costs will start to plummet. When you rent an apartment by the month, shop at local supermarkets, I like to go and get bananas and eggs and fruits, eat like a local, your daily expenses start to drop massively. You're no longer feeding the tourist machine. You're living a real life, for a fraction of the costs. But the thing is, those guys that drop $4,000 in Sosua on a 5-day vacation, if they just waited a little bit longer and saved up until they had maybe $8,000 or $10,000, they could have turned that into a 3-month trip in Sosua, because it's the bookends of your trips that are very expensive. The start and the end of your trip, the flights, the hotel, but in the middle, costs plummet. Get an apartment, get a supermarket, things start to become very cheap.
And let's face it, the reason why there aren't a ton of more guys out here traveling, living, dating internationally is because of the finances. That's why I put together a free guide for you guys, 7 financial paths to traveling the world and living overseas. You can download it for free. Link in the description.
And speaking of cheap, here's another secret. You don't need expensive hobbies. One of my favorite hobbies is very simple and cheap. It's exploring the city. I love, whenever I get to a new city, taking 3 to 5 hour walks, just wandering around, checking out the city, learning where things are. Maybe I'll stop for a coffee here, grab a bagel, or get some lunch here, wander through the parks, check out the malls, check out side streets. Sometimes I'll meet somebody, make a friend. Sometimes I'll meet a woman, strike up a conversation. It's natural, it's cheap, and it's real. On other days, I work on my brand. I'll take my laptop to a co-working space or a coffee shop, get some work done, stay productive. And a lot of cities, they even have free public gyms. What do I mean? If you go to these outdoor parks, they'll have all these body weight stations. And of course, beaches, beaches are almost always free. So you don't always need to blow your money to enjoy life overseas. You just need to start living a little bit differently, thinking differently. And here's the best part. When you stop living like a tourist, you can start living like a local. You start building a real life, real friendships, real routines, real growth. You don't just consume a place, you belong there. And I've got quite a few cities I've explored around the world and spent significant time in. So I have full confidence if I go back in there, I can pop in there. I know exactly how everything works, the transportation, the currency. I know how to get around. I might even have a few friends to hit up. So I hope that it helps you understand that long-term travel isn't just about escaping life. It's about building a better one. With discipline, humility, and a little bit of purpose, if you treat it like a nonstop party, you'll end up crashing and burning. You'll never escape. But if you treat it like an opportunity to design a freer, richer, better life, I think that you can thrive overseas.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.